Today, I'm going to finish sharing my thoughts about an article that was recently published on Above the Law. Why are former lawyers so bitter sometimes? I've already covered quite a few problematic things in the last 2 weeks' videos, so definitely check those out. And one more time, I want to be super clear up front that I am not trying to drag the author of this piece. But this piece is a really good example of the kind of thinking that keeps so many lawyers feeling trapped in the law. The types of gaslighting that so many lawyers experience and often internalize. And frankly, some of the reasons that people who have left the profession feel a responsibility to speak out. So we talked last week about how the author of this piece suggested that the negative experiences of lawyers who choose to leave the law are no less negative than the negative experiences of other people in other industries or careers who choose to leave their profession. And while that may be true, my experience has shown me that there are some things that make it uniquely difficult for lawyers to leave the legal profession when they're having a bad experience. We talk about most of those themes regularly around here. The sunk cost fallacy, the fact that many who choose to become lawyers are perfectionists, family pressures, a belief that they need to achieve at a prestigious level in order to be valuable, having their identity wrapped up in being a lawyer. And it's true that all of those things may exist in other corporate careers and make it difficult for people in those careers to leave as well. But the particular question that's being raised in the article is why former lawyers are so vocal about their bad experiences in the law. And my observation has been that former lawyers know at a deep level how difficult it is to walk away from the legal profession even when it's destroying you. I've mentioned before that I know lawyers who are miserable and were told by family or friends that the law is no worse than any other field. Every field is the same. It's just as bad elsewhere. So if they left, it wouldn't really matter. It would just be the same anywhere else. Spoiler alert, as I've talked about before, that's just wrong. Later in the article, there are a few paragraphs with some really problematic conclusions, which I'm going to summarize here. Former lawyers may be bitter because they're resentful that they spent so much time and money getting a law degree. The author argues that they shouldn't be bitter because you can use the things that you learned in your legal training in other fields. Okay. The author also posits that former lawyers may be bitter because law firm work is a grind. The author argues that anywhere else you go, as long as it's still in corporate, is going to be just as bad. And we've just covered why that's not true. Towards the end of the piece, the author argues, again, that former lawyers have no basis to have more ill will towards the legal profession than other people who leave other professions do towards their professions. Again, the assumption is that if former lawyers are speaking out about their negative experiences, it's because they have more ill will than other people who have left other professions. And the piece closes with this. In the end, I am not sure why former lawyers hold such ill will toward the legal profession, and to what degree that can impact the perception people have about the legal profession. I would love to hear perspectives from readers on why they think former sisters and brothers of the bar have animosity to the legal industry. Here's my perspective. Let's think about this with an analogy. If a man beats his wife and she eventually divorces him because of that, when she tells people, "I divorced him because he beat me," that is obviously going to have a negative impact on his reputation. But his sullied reputation is not her fault. It is the consequence of the fact that he beat her. If there are people for whom working as a lawyer is a hellish ordeal, and after they leave, they tell people that the reason for it was because it was a hellish ordeal, the sullied reputation of the legal profession is not the fault of those mistreated by it. It is a consequence of the dysfunction in the profession. If the legal profession's reputation is sullied because people who used to work as lawyers are honest about their experiences working in the legal profession, that is not the result of those people. That is the consequence of having a toxic industry. And labeling people's honesty about their bad experiences in the legal industry as animosity is just another way to dismiss and silence people who are trying to tell you that they have already been dismissed and silenced. Listen, I will always say this. If you love being a lawyer, great. I don't think that I or any other former lawyer has any interest in talking someone out of being a lawyer if that's what they genuinely want to be doing. What I am here to do is to tell you that if you don't love being a lawyer and you're sick of being gaslit about whether your experience is truly bad, there is another way. And you can start by downloading my free guide, First Steps to Leaving the Law at formerlawyer.com/first. Also, check out these two videos on the screen. One is about the burnout that I'm seeing in Big Law Associates in 2021, and the other is what burnout lawyers need to know. I truly hope this series helps you on your journey to trade lawyering for a better life.